trembling and injured, Bernard Hinault stands to lose his yellow jersey to his teammate and close friend, Greg LeMond. The Golden Fleece is up for grabs, where Pyrenean mist has fashioned this bizarre battleground.
So Greg LeMond has his chance. What is going through his mind as he rides alongside Roach, who has rejoined after his puncture? LeMond is now under instructions from his team manager to slow Roach down. On a mountain, that's not easy. So LeMond rides alongside Roach, matching his speed, but not exceeding it. Has LeMond decided not to win the Tour? Why can't a rider in a winning position go for gold? Maybe his team doesn't have the faith in him that they have in Hinault surviving until Paris. In any case, to win, LeMond must leave Roach behind, and Roach has already shown his strength in the mountains by recovering from that puncture. LeMond's dilemma has turned into a nightmare. He knows he's strong. To the chance of his name, Hinault, the Badger, continues to fight, followed by his teammate, Nicky Reutemann. What's in the mind of LeMond? Treachery, or is it loyalty? LeMond's team director attempts to make the decision, and he talks to LeMond, telling him to ride with Roach, but not to break from him. LeMond doesn't appear to like the idea, but in case he didn't get the message first time, the command is repeated. Led by Reutemann, his teammate Hinault is forced to discover new strengths to prove he really is the rightful holder of the yellow jersey. Up front, the argument goes on in French, and for the first time in this Tour, LeMond rebels against the team's instructions. He angrily attempts to persuade his coach that he should be given the chance to win the Tour. LeMond is now a frustrated young man. He knows he has the strength to attack, but his own team will not allow him to leave his leader behind. At long last, his instinct to win has shown through, and it clashes with his conscience to leave his mentor and close friend. Hinault, injured and confused, keeps a rhythm up the mountain. He knows now he is vulnerable, but he's not sure if his enemy is Roach or LeMond.
And is LeMond's enemy Roche or his coach? LeMond, a bright star on a team with one even brighter. He backs off his pace on the climb up the mountain they call Luzard de Den. What a crushing command to obey when you feel in your heart that in your legs is the power to become the first American ever to wear the Golden Fleece. As LeMond slows, the riders between he and Hinault begin to close in, and soon the passive climbing of LeMond attracts more riders. Hinault, leading his chase group, begins to close down the time gap. Does the Frenchman even know his American teammate has been told he must reduce the pace of his race with Roche to save Hinault's yellow jersey? Hinault hired LeMond to ride with him on La Viclaire, and now it's clear who's riding for whom. The thoughts in the mind of the American now surely as cloudy as the mountain air through which he rides. Like a magnet, LeMond and Roche attract even more, and their Pied Piper procession continues. Hinault is now only 1 minute behind. LeMond's group of 2 has become 10 as they near the finish line. And LeMond's group would finish 1 minute 13 seconds ahead of Hinault in this race, while the Frenchman in that yellow leader's jersey knew if he maintained his current pace up the mountain, he would surely stay in yellow. And the thousands along the mountain road who had just seen LeMond knew Hinault would be safe. So while LeMond picked up time, he was still 2:25 back, and the strength left for riding was used to produce tears. Hinault's suffering on the climb had taken its toll, and while he was attended to, Greg argued with the man who coaches them both.
All I have to say is if Hinault was in my place, he would not have waited. That's all I have to say. That's the truth. That's the difference. Hinault was in my place. I have nothing against Hinault. I want him to win the Tour. I felt that if he was in my place at the last climb. Do you want me to punch you in the face? No. Get out of here.
Bernard Hinault back on the victory stand, but now with a severe case of bronchitis. So, in a strange twist of fate, will the coach's orders tomorrow send LeMond after the yellow jersey? Will you let Greg LeMond go if he wants to?
If he can, that's the problem.
Still think you have a chance to win?
It's over now.
Is it? The next day, and the fans who wait outside Hinault's hotel are not so sure the Tour is over.
It's your money, son.
The fans waiting outside Bernard Hinault's hotel room on day 20 are not disappointed. Rumors were everywhere that Hinault, after his harrowing crash and current bout with bronchitis, would pull out of the Tour. Well, you can see for yourself. Greg LeMond readies himself this morning after a day of controversy and tears, which is now the talk of the Tour.
So he's in a bad spot, really. You know, I feel sorry for Greg. Like
So
he's by far the better man than Hinault, you know. But he just, because the way the situation is, he just can't play his own game, like.
You know, it was just, yesterday was just one chance in a lifetime. That's why I was probably upset more than anything.
Je pense que c'est la journée critique. Si je passe cette journée, après c'est fini.
If I make it through today, the Tour is over. The if may be there, because the day's climb is the last mountain stage, which is nearly straight up. And now for the L'Aubiclaires, the task is to protect the Maillot Jaune, Bernard Hinault's yellow jersey, and make sure Hinault makes it to Paris unscathed. The only rider close enough in the standings to take it from him is LeMond, and it would appear the decision has already been made. LeMond will be a team player. Stephen Roche has made a move off the front, but at 30 miles, the race just isn't long enough to make up 5 minutes on Hinault. So the five-time champion with LeMond for a pacemaker rides the 7% grade up the Col d'Aubisque. Hundreds of thousands watch the climb, and what they see is a bright yellow jersey carried by a Frenchman. For Hinault and the rest, the sky is gone. There are only flailing arms and deafening screams. For the man who carries a jersey, they thought was gone. And when Hinault finishes, it's time again for the mayhem. Because to the press, the Tour now must certainly be over. It's yellow once again for Hinault, who symbolically tosses part of his victory to the fans who have helped him in this race against all odds. Two races remaining before the finish line in Paris, and the first will be a time trial. The classic race against the watch and the face of Greg LeMond.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop!
This American rides with a passion in a Tour de France he now has no chance of winning. But the time trial is a race alone without what can be the shackles of team tactics. Greg LeMond is out to prove something, but to whom? Hinault begins his race, and the two are chased by the watch and by one another.
Working hard to keep his speed on the rolling course, LeMond gets up out of his saddle. The time trial is not LeMond's event. In fact, the poor showing in the time trials may have cost him the yellow jersey. Racing against the clock, he knows this is the last chance he has to prove to himself and the critics that he can be the best in the world.
Hinault is the recognized master of the time trial, and the reason everyone has been pronouncing this year's race already over is because they know the Badger's internal clock and legs of lightning will not allow anyone to snatch the color yellow off his back. They all know that to win a time trial is to prove inner discipline and total control.
In a race where every second is precious, Greg LeMond finishes in a near sprint. Over the last third of the course, LeMond has felt strong, and his time is the best so far, but now he can only wait. Hinault, too, has heard of LeMond's progress late in the race and pushes across the finish line in an all-out final effort. But it isn't enough. Greg LeMond has become the first American to win a stage in the Tour de France.
So the teammates who began as friends, had a day as adversaries, now enjoy Greg's historic victory together.
Une belle. Oui, c'est une belle, celui-là. Bravo, Bernard.